Hello and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, today I'm finally reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's movie because it took me too long and there was some drama, whatever. Anyway, there are going to be spoilers up ahead, so what the heck have you been doing? Living under a rock? Literally, it's in theaters, it's on Peacock, like go watch it. Also, for 24 frames of Nick, you suck. Anyway, I'm kidding. Anyway. I originally had a whole, script for it, but I threw it out because I was like, that's inauthentic. Writing a script to keep my thoughts and remembering everything, that's stupid. I'm just gonna wing it. So here I am winging this. I watched the movie twice. I watched it once in theaters and once on Peacock. One with friends, another one with friends, so I will also have their reviews and their ideas and their rating out of 1 out of 10. I'll have my review, my rating towards the end, and also calling out 24 frames of Nick. Anyway, whatever. So, Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I went and watched it the first time in the movie theaters. There wasn't a lot of people, and I also watched it in the fucking morning. Who watches it in the morning? I don't know, but I did. I watched it a couple days before Halloween, and then afterwards I watched it again on Halloween, but, what was I saying? So, overall design of the movie. Let's start there, because I want to give it its pros and its cons, because there is a little bit of a cons, but it's not too big. I overall enjoyed the design. At some points, it did feel a little empty, but even though it was, huge, the costumes for the characters were pretty good. I keep saying this, I love the designs for the animatronics. They were incredible, they were good, they look straight out of the game. But because they look straight out of the game, they look out of place. It's so good that it doesn't make sense. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. It was done gorgeously. Whoever did those animatronic costumes did them incredible. They're gorgeous. Especially with the budget that the movie was given, they worked with what they had, and they worked incredibly well. I really did enjoy the movie. Personally, as someone who's been obsessively watching people play it because I was too poor to actually own the game, even though it's just $20. I also don't have a computer at the time and has watched all the game theories and has been religiously, almost honestly, keeping up with the lore, the convoluted lore that it is. I really thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It was good for me personally. I really did like it. Like I said, costume designs so good that they look fake. My only thing was with Springtrap. I didn't really like it. I don't know. It felt like something was missing. I don't know. It didn't look too good, but it was the overall costume design incredible. I loved it. Everything was everything was kept to the video game. It was beautiful. After costume design, acting. We love the actors. Josh Hutcherson. People are doing fan edits of him. I don't know why I brought that up. They're actually pretty good. I'm kidding. Not really. Matthew Lillard. I love him. Scooby. Well, Shaggy, he's with Scooby, Shaggy, I will be honest, every time I heard him talk, I heard Shaggy in the back of my head. I was like, Scooby-Doo. And everyone else seemed like I didn't really know him. As someone who doesn't really care for actors, I just know the top A and B listers. Pretty good. They did okay. I will be honest. At least for Josh Hutcherson's character, Mike, which I feel like his whole point of his character was to be, like, mundane, almost, like, not interested, because that's how it felt. It felt like he was not interested. I feel like that was, like, the character he was supposed to play. You know, as this messed up person who lost their brother due to a kidnapping. You know, I feel like that was the character they were supposed to play. Matthew Lillard, I was so excited because he does an incredible job. I love him as Shaggy. And I've seen him, you know, in other movies. He could act it up, you know? I was a little disappointed. One, there wasn't even enough screen time for him. I think they just couldn't afford it, which I get that. But two, he would have awkward pauses. I don't know who edited the movie, but there would be some long-ass awkward pauses throughout the movie where characters were speaking, and there would be a pause. And it would just be like, what the fuck? What? It made it feel awkward and cringe almost. Like, it was too many that I can notice, you know? Here and there, okay, you know, it happens. It's probably just to cause a pause for the scene to have the emotion, you know, sit there. But it would be too many times, and I just, it would, no. I wish they gave Matthew Lillard a better script. And yeah, I mean, people will still love it. Okay, please don't come after me. Personally, I don't think this was their performance. The only good performance, I do agree with 24 Frames Nick, was Abby, the girl, the sister. I think she did an incredible job. Honestly, she portrayed it so well. Like, I'm glad they gave her an opportunity. Vanessa was here and there, you know. Max, the babysitter, she was good. She was decent. She was good. Again, they had what they had. They had a script, and they tried working with what they had. And, you know, making a video game into a movie it's always been difficult. You know, it's always had it's literally a huge issue. Why are you trying to do a movie adaptation of a video game? I don't know, but it for what it is, they did really good. And I think it's a lot better than other movie game adaptation movies. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, speaking of it being a video game, and, you know, the whole aspect of this video game is a spooky video game. I'm not saying scary. It's a jump scare video game. I know the rating was PG-13, but I have seen other, I don't like horror movies, not because I find them scary. I just find them kind of same trope, very overused, always the same thing. You know, you get the premise, it gets boring. I like action, even though, you know, it does get also repetitive. But there's a lot of things. I feel like horror movies, you know when the jump scare is going to happen. You know, there hasn't been a good horror movie for me. Psychological ones, though, you know, those, I get that. But this is supposed to be a spooky movie. Yes, the rating is PG-13, but I have seen other people with that same rating do an incredible job pushing the boundaries on letting things get, you know, crossing the PG-13 to rated R, you know. The sheer amount of jump scares this movie had was literally sad. It was so sad. I will agree with 24 Frames of Nick. I'm only calling him out because I watched his review and I really am pissed about it. I know I'm saying a lot of negative stuff, but, you know, there's gonna be a sequel. There has to be a sequel. There wasn't that many. There was literally 5 tops, and they weren't even fucking scary. I really thought for a scary movie, you know, a video game that's so convoluted in lore, and a video game that it's literally based off jump scares, and, you know, all that jazz, only to have 5, maybe 6 tops jump scares that weren't even really scary. 2 or 3 of them were Balloon Boy, which, they weren't even scary. One of them was the Bite of 87, people keep calling it. It's not the Bite of 87. It literally tells you that it's in the 2000s. Jesus Christ. Learn your lore. Sorry, I had to call that out. Where one of the character, or, again, spoilers up ahead, like I said earlier, Freddy, Boy Ghost, takes Max, the babysitter, to the back room, and that's when they chomp her in half. They go, chomp! That wasn't even scary. TBH. There was minimal blood. For a movie about a serial killer killing kids, and then using those kids' ghosts to kill other things, was kind of not bloody. I was expecting more gore. Not even gore, just like more action-based. I will say, though... Oh, there was one more jump scare. I'm sorry, I didn't even finish. The one where they're back towards the end of the movie, where they're back in the room. One of my friends got scared of it. I was like, dude, they're literally just standing there. Like, how is that scary? They're back at the house of Mike and Abby. And this is like where Freddy gets Abby back, and it was just standing in a dark corner. Someone's walking by. I just don't understand how that was scary. That shit was not scary. I don't know why my friend got scared. Anyway, I get the rating, PG-13, kind of keep it friendly. Yeah, no. I've seen better PG-13 rated horror movies, literally almost crossing the line, and still keeping it like PG-13. I wish they used it. I wish they took more advantage of it. I will say, though, I know, again, I keep mentioning this man, but it's because it really pisses me off that he gave it such a low rating. 2 out of 10? Really? Okay, anyway. The psychological horror of it is, not even for us, it's for the main character. The whole movie is pretty much, Mike, main character, has a sister, but is stuck in the past because his brother got kidnapped by the killer, who turns out to be a serial killer who's killed children and stuffed them in animatronic suits. Honestly, for someone who has never, if you're someone who loves horror and you went to watch this movie, I still think it's too convoluted to understand. Just me trying to explain it in, a really paraphrasing and, making it super basic is so convoluted. Anyway, it deals with Mike and how he is trying to use sleep to remember his brother's kidnapper or killer, because the brother's dead, Or maybe. Who knows? Using sleep, and he ends up being in the dream constantly. Personally, I kind of like that aspect of the movie. I know some people, I literally just said I hate repetitiveness. That's why I don't like horror movies. I don't like horror movies for a lot of things, okay? I like happy endings. Sorry. I do agree it uses it as a crutch more than anything. But I feel like it helps answer some of the lore questions people were having. Even though Vanessa towards the end literally just spews it out. That's another thing. The whole lore. I know people were like, oh, I think they made it like that so people who weren't huge fans of, who weren't, people who watched the games could still understand the movie, so it wasn't so convoluted, because that's how the games are. They're super convoluted. They just straight up changed the whole lore. As someone who knows the video game lore and the book lore, if you want to go towards the books that Scott Cawthon has released, if you want to read those two lores have always been a little different. They have similarities, but they're always been different. The movie is a completely different thing. Like, it has the names, it has the characters, but it's a similar basic story about a guy killing kids and stuffing them in animatronic suits and the spirits taking over, wanting for vengeance. The whole movie has completely kind of just kept that basic narrative and threw everything else to the window. Which I will say was kind of frustrating as someone who went to watch the movie for the fans, type thing that was being said all over the internet. I watched it because I was like, I'm a fan. I'm going to watch this movie. I don't care if it's really shit. I don't care if people on Rotten Tomatoes were saying it was bad and all those critics don't even know. And even if 24 Frames of Nick said it was bad. Well, I already had watched it, so it didn't even matter. I don't care if he says it's bad. It's for the fans. Also, that follow-up video was not necessary, Nick. I will say that, too. Saying it like as he's watching it. He wouldn't watch this shit. Anyway. Like I was saying. The lore was thrown out the window, pretty much. The whole lore now is that Mike... I'm not gonna repeat the original video game lore. It's so crazy. It's a lot. But before, I will say, people originally thought Mike and Vanessa were related in the video game adaptation, or in the video game, not in the video game adaptation. It's the video game first. But now it seems that Mike and Vanessa are about similar ages and not related to one another. Mike and Abby, we don't know who they're related to. We don't know. We truly don't know. But now Vanessa's related to William Afton. So she's Vanessa Afton. While before... Wait, what the fuck? I'm getting myself confused. I don't know. But they changed the narrative of the story. They changed the whole lore. It's kind of annoying, kind of sad. I get it, though. The first lore was really convoluted. It took MatPat, 8 years to solve? Like, I get it. But now, it's completely different. Now, before, I will say, Springtrap, who was the bunny that William Afton made, was never even, remotely close to the kids, to the animatronics. Ever since he killed them and stuffed them in the suits, the spirits turned evil and wanted to always, destroy William Afton. In the movie, it seems that William Afton can control the kids by using drawings. Which I'm like, huh? No point in the lore, in the video game, was that ever mentioned. I don't know why. I don't know how. Whatever. Mike and Abby were considered siblings, I believe. But we don't know. The lore is too convoluted. I don't even want to remember. It's giving me a headache. Anyway. The lore has changed. This is also taking place in early 2000s, as there was many points of pointing that out. Thirdly, what the fuck? Why is Mike fighting for Abby's custody? Where was that in the lore? When they take it make it too realistic to real life. I will say there is also, in the movie, there is some stuff that's contingency, is that the word? There's plot holes in the movie. Which I didn't want to call them out, but one of them that me and literally all my friends and people who watched it that I talked to pointed out is, towards the end of the movie, there's the aunt, right, who's trying to get Abby because she wants money from the government, which I'm like, okay? I don't think the government gives out that much money anyways. Because Mike wouldn't be fighting for a job and fighting for eviction, like, getting eviction notice if he made enough money getting, like, the child support from Abby. You know what I'm saying? Did that make sense? Anyway. There's multiple plot holes, but I want to point this one out because towards the end, you know, Mike had already given custody to the aunt. Abby was mad. She scratched out his face, so the animatronics were gonna go after him. So what they did was Mike ran off. He went to the restaurant, Five Nights at Freddy's restaurant. He left Abby with the aunt, right? But then Freddy comes and gets Abby from their house. But in order to do that, he has to get through the aunt that was in the living room. But he kills the aunt. And so she's just laying there on the floor. And she's doing that, that typical, like, dead pose, Not typical. That sounds so messed up. I'm so sorry. But she's doing the pose where, like, people do to show that someone's dead in movies. And then the little Freddy boy, I'm calling it Freddy boy because it's the ghost of Fred, It's like, oops, I guess she was tired or some stupid shit like that. Huh? And then after that whole, like, fighting scene at the, William Afton, Springtrap, we killed, that whole thing, it does a time skip, right? What the fuck happened to the aunt? Dude, they were literally amongst a custody battle. Like, the cops would be all over that. And it can't be Vanessa. So Vanessa's a cop, right? So she helps her dad, who's Springtrap. I'm just keeping it short. Cover up the, any deaths because she's a cop, she could just lure it away. But she was, like, stabbed by her dad, right? And she's in a coma right now. So there's no fucking way she was able to cover it up. Because she's in a coma. Like, huh? There's this huge, like, issue right there. What happened to the aunt? Is she back alive? Did she not die? Did they just knock her out? Like, what? Is she dead? Like, they skipped this whole big issue. Like, the cops will be all over their asses right now. Mike would be in jail. Because it was not only in his home. Like, that made no sense. Not only was she, like, laying there in the house, it was his home. Like, that's a big red flag. And then they're fighting for custody. So that's suspicious as hell. Anyway, I just want that answered, please. Scott Coffin, please answer that, please. What the fuck happened? I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm taking too long. Not the only good thing. Overall, I love the costume designs. I know I've been talking too much about the negative stuff. It's easy to remember the negative more than the positive. That's how psychology works. That sucks. But, I really love the costume designs. Overall, the characters played pretty well with each other. Someone just do a better editing. I think that was just editing. There's too many pauses. Script-wise, just tweak it a little bit. It could be there. It's just needing a little more. As someone who's dyslexic, as I know about writing, I know a lot about writing. Just tweak it a little bit. I think it'll get there. A really huge positive, which I think it means a lot, especially because most places, I mean most, like, huge medias would never do is involve the people that made them popular, in a sense. So, huge spoiler again. If you haven't watched it, go fucking watch the movie, please. It's doing really well, so I'm happy for them. Is the cameos. The MatPat was in it, and Corey X. Kenshin was also in it, which Markiplier was also supposed to be in it, but it conflicted with his own movie, which I could totally get. But if he's, like, directing it and paying for it, and he's not acting in it, he should take a day off, and could have done, like, a whole day. MatPat took a day. He made a whole video about it, so one day would have been fine. And it's Markiplier. It would have taken him, like, one take. Anyway, I would have loved to see Mark, so, he would have been, like, the opening scene. is the creators that were in it. Personally, no huge, like, big production, none of that would have used the creators, the people who helped popularize the game in the movie. I don't think I've ever seen that. I know a lot of people are really happy about it. I am truly. It's a huge step for content creators, influencers, social media personalities to be given that opportunity to be on a big screen. You know, it's not going to be like it was a blockbuster hit, but it's going to be something really cool and that they can look fondly on. And I really, really, truly appreciate Scott Cawthon adding those people in there, because that's essentially the MatPat and Corey and Markiplier and everyone who was involved, because there was also a lot of, like, small cameos and, like, Easter eggs. Those people are what created FNAF and what helped, give its popularity. Markiplier never did that reaction. He's the king of FNAF, I know he's not, but he's one of them. Without them, it wouldn't have brought in so much attention and so much love. Like, I know it's just a Let's Player, whatever, or a theory or whatever, but it means so much, and it's really nice to see these creators be praised for once, because there's a lot of negative connotation, which is deserved for the most part. Looking at you, everyone who's gone to Japan, literally fuck off with that shit. Stop that. It's really nice to see a better aspect. I know they've been using a lot of TikTokers on commercials, which is still really cool. I still love seeing TikTokers on commercials, but it's really cool, even cooler to see people on the big screen, and like random parents and random kids be like, "Oh my god!" I literally heard someone like, "Oh my god, that's MatPat!" in the fucking theater. It was really cool, and I just really enjoy that. Like, it was funny. I know it's only one negative or two positive. There's still a lot more positives. Using the songs. By Tombstone. I think it was Tombstone, right? Yes, Tombstone. It's that I will be honest, I was late for the first one, watching in the movies, so I missed it. The second time I did watch it, but I wasn't paying much attention because I already had watched the movie, so I'm sorry. But by Living Tombstone, incredible. Like, it's really nice to see, things you watch on the internet, not horror, like, badly used, like how people still use dabbing, or like fucking the most random shit dances are still in TV right now. Like, does that make sense? I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, but yeah, it was really cool to see that, and I really, really, truly love and appreciate Scott Cawthon and everyone on the team being super nice and super supportive and being really cool about it. Now, the ratings. 24 Frames Nick gave it 2 out of 10, which I think was kind of harsh, personal opinion. He calls himself a FNAF fan. I don't think so. I'm kidding. I'll start with my friends. I watched it with 3 people in the theaters. My first friend gave it a 4 out of 10. Same reason from Nick. They thought there was too many plot holes, there was unanswered questions, and the lore was kind of different. My other friend, who's more like me, gave it a 5 out of 10. They were just expecting more scary. They like scary stuff, so they were expecting more scary and more blood, which that did not have, clearly. My other friend, who is just like me, gave it a 8 out of 10, which I still think is a little too high, but whatever. They loved it. They thought it was super good. They loved the costume design as well, and they thought Josh Hutcherson was hot. I'm literally reading this off what they told me when they said it. So, okay. I watched it again with 3 other friends too. It was by ourselves. We were just screen sharing it. And we watched it on Peacock. My first friend gave it a 4 out of 10 too. They thought the pacing was a little weird in the the atmosphere was great, but the pacing was weird. And I really enjoyed, some of the characters' interactions, but some of them were just awkward, which I agree with. My second friend gave it a 6 out of 10. They said they really liked the costumes as well as many of my other friends. The plotline was kind of weird. Even they're also FNAF fans themselves. They thought they would base it straight off the video game, but overall they really did like it, and they loved the cameos they had. My third friend gave it a 5.5 out of 10, and I told them to round it because I didn't want to do that, so they said 5 out of 10. Again, they're also fans of scary stuff. They were kind of hoping for it to be more scarier. They literally watched every scary movie out there, even the most random ones. They even watched that one with Nicolas Cage. They really like the one with Nicolas Cage more, even though it's based off the same thing. Production-wise, they thought it was really good. Execution-wise, they said it needs a little more work. Now, for my personal opinion, which is the only opinion that matters. I'm kidding. Don't do that. That's toxic. I personally also give it a 6 out of 10. I know I was just going after Nick. I think the 2 out of 10 is really low. I did just give it 2 positives, but there's a lot. For its first movie, and for it being, a video game adaptation, I think it did pretty good. It's not too convoluted. There are things that are missing, of course. The whole lore is just... The whole lore... That sounded like something else. Whole lore has just been completely changed, which is a little disappointing. But it still has the same basic fundamentals of the video game. Costume designs, of course, fabulous. Cameos and creator mentions, incredible. Again, there's some plot holes in there that I wish could be answered. I also don't like that they leave it on kind of a cliffhanger. Also, Vanessa is in a coma. That's also the part of the cliffhanger. But I'm really excited for part 2, because they're gonna make a second movie. They're already talking it, and it's in the works. And that I really just enjoy that we're listening to fans. They're already changing the script again and incorporating things fans have said. I really do love that and enjoy that, because personally I feel like most of the time people don't even care. Especially for movies based on video games, people just ignore it. Or just overall fan stuff. I really am excited for it. I can't wait to see what FNAF 2 will be like. So yeah, my rating is 6 out of 10. I know it's not the best, but 24 frame mix was, exaggerating a little bit. Just something to bit. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my mess of a video. I hope you enjoyed watching the FNAF movie. Tell me how you thought about it. Give me your opinions. I want to hear it. I love opinions, okay? I love reading comments. Please tell me everything. I am very nosy. I want to know everything, Tell me how you felt about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Tell me what you did like about it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the movie. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's super random, and it took me too long to make. I wanted to talk about the Mr. Beast stuff. He's still getting called out for something else. That man is getting called out for something new every week now. It's actually kind of crazy. I'm just going to leave it alone for now. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great day. Be careful. Be safe out there. The world is a very dangerous, very crazy place. I hope, everything's good. I hope your day's going well. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. And I will see y'all later.